Look at this map. It shows us how much chicken each country on the continent consumes. The darker the country, the more chicken they eat. I was a bit surprised by South Africa. The average South African eats twice as much chicken as red meat, double the global average. Alongside Egypt, we dominate Africa's chicken consumption. And globally, we are in the top 12 consistently, despite having just 60 million people. Apparently, we are obsessed. I mean, bottomless chicken? And we eat all of it. Feet, head, neck, breast, leg, you name it. I had an eye once. Yeah. We produce a lot of chicken, but we also import it from around the world. Brazil, the US, Argentina, even the EU. We build geopolitical relationships through chicken. In fact, since 1999, we've been in a battle to control our own poultry industry. Because when we don't behave, chicken gets us in trouble. This is a story about social mobility, economic change, and the winners and losers from it all. In other words, it's not just about eating chicken.
The essential thing is that South Africa actually doesn't produce enough chicken for our own needs.
And if we open our markets more freely to US goods, there are risks attached to that, aren't there?
Because something I pop in the air fryer and doesn't take a long time to cook.
One of the things that we did very early on is that we said Nando's is going to be a brand. It must have a personality.
You look beautiful and handsome at the same time.
Why do you want to buy me lunch? I can buy you lunch.
I can buy you lunch.
Baby wants to buy me lunch.
It's because it's affordable. Affordable, yeah. Things are very expensive. The economy, it's recession. So, we can afford the things that we can afford. Yeah. Necessities. So I used to buy chops. I used to buy, what's this other one that my children love the most? That oxtail. I used to buy oxtail. I used to buy T-bone steak. But now I've changed T-bone steak to chuck.
And you were buying chicken as well?
I was, but not as much as now. Now I've got no choice but to buy it. I jump from buying a 5 kg.
While today most of us eat meat for most days of the week, many South Africans grew up with diets that had alternative sources of protein. In fact, this was the case for centuries. Chicken wasn't really the star of the show. But in the 20th century, two forces collide for our story: industrial farming and apartheid. Drought and economic depression excite the animal feed industry in South Africa. It's fertile ground for the poultry industry, which quickly becomes more industrialized, meaning chicken becomes more affordable than, say, beef or lamb. By the 2000s, this will be South Africa's largest agricultural industry. We nailed chicken, but not everyone benefited. For most Black South Africans, chicken was still a luxury. Under apartheid, poverty and systematic inequality meant meat remained inaccessible and even a privilege. This was even worse in rural areas where people ate pap and spinach or pap and milk. Compare that to the multicolored plate of today.
You know, growing up, to be quite honest with you, we were not eating a lot of chicken. Chicken daily namayati Sundays. Like, you know, if you are gonna eat your chicken and rice, you were like regarded as what's like family, right? The reason why I called it a privilege is because we even had a song, chicken and rice, and rice.
When we fast forward a bit to a time when food has gotten more and more expensive, the foundations laid by the poultry industry now mean that chicken is the most accessible type of meat in South Africa. It's gone from exclusion to access and dignity. There's a protein for all: rich, poor, urban, or rural. When you contextualize that within the history of a lack of access to foods, the employment created by the industry, the rise in processed food, and well, it's no surprise that KFC does so well. No surprise that one of South Africa's most successful exports is Nando's. But it's not just big brands. Even on the side of the street, you can get some chicken. Because
people selling eggs, and the actual chickens.
With all this context, in part 2, we're going to look at the companies that have tapped into this reality. Who's done well and who's really messed up. All right, if you're still here, I'm Tabs. I started the entries because I'm interested in the choices people make and the attitudes they have. So I've done such research to help businesses find their place in the market. I've done it for NPOs to help them understand their communities better. If you want something like that for a new product, a new business, let me know. Give me a shout. Or maybe you're just curious why Gen Z just won't stop vaping. Send me a mail. Oh, by the way, if you want to check out that map I created with all the data on chicken in the world and how much people eat, I'll put a link in the description. Cheers.